once you have invested a threshold number of points into that constellation.
Sure.
For example, putting 10 plus points into the Astronaut constellation gives you an additional bonus named Merchant's Favor. If you spend 100 points in the Lore constellation, you earn Last Stand, which grants increased ultimate when you fall below 20% health. There are special passives unlocked at 10, 20, 30, 50, and 100 point investments.
Yeah.
Are we going to continue?
No. That's fine, but you do get, like, there's passives you put in to make it, like, Blade Master and stuff of those when you pick specific trees. But I know there was one particular thing called, like, Shadow Strike or something like that, which was an ability you can use when coming out of stealth, that you had to put it in, like, the Thief tree or something like that. But yeah, like, there will be special abilities and things, or you could just go all passes with the system. It allows you to, I guess, customize your character in a specific way towards hitting caps, towards, if you want to be a tank, you're going to want to take a lot of the traits and abilities that benefit tanking in a way, whether it be armor, physical mitigation, spell mitigation, things of those nature. And that's essentially the champion system as a whole. I know it seems like very confusing at first, but it's honestly like what we currently have, but drop Skyrim's skill system into it at the same time.
I'll say this honestly, I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't like it. I like the system we have now. It makes sense. Even though it's a little grindy, who cares? It makes sense. You're rewarded for spending time put into the veteran ranks.
I agree.
I am not looking forward to it because they're essentially changing the entire game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm fine with it. I'm loving it.
Because if this is what they wanted to do in the first place, why didn't it come out with this in the first place? Instead of getting us used to what's happening now and then going, whoa, guys. we're just gonna stop this and we're just gonna totally flip you guys upside down, and you're gonna have to learn this extremely convoluted, confusing new system. Good luck.
Yeah, the players who
left.
That
argument.
I don't know.
Say again, Deltia?
The players who left because they didn't like the system left. They're not coming back to this game now that it's going to change.
Especially not with a system like this.
Yeah.
I love this system. I really do. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Well, I guess we haven't seen it, so I don't know. Once it comes out, it'll be way different, probably. It's just bizarre. It's a massive risk. Huge change.
It's a revamp. It definitely is a revamp. But I'm excited for it. But as I was saying, is hindsight's 2020. You should tell that to the Tesla cable for why didn't we use that?
Yeah, but then you could go the opposite route with what is the first Jedi game, the first
Star Wars
Galaxies, when that came out.
Yeah,
they had
their combat.
Yeah, they had a big. How'd that work? Killed the game.
That's true. I see where you're at. This is a big change. It definitely is a big change. A lot of it's a big change.
Well, I trust these developers. I mean, they haven't steered me wrong. Guess I haven't agreed with everything, but they've been open, honest, forthright, and they're trying to do the right thing. So I'll give them a chance on that.
Okay. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of testing with this, and this is something where if you don't like the system, or you don't think you'll like it, when it comes out on the PTSs and stuff, hop in, try it, and give your feedback. If a lot of people go, guys, if they don't like the idea of the champion system when it comes out, I mean, by that point in time, you could say, yeah, it might be a little too late for players, but those of us fans who stick with it, and we know they listen to us, so we can say, hey, we don't like it, and they may change it for us. I don't know. All right. Well, that was the end of the Guild Summit for day one. We're going to go into our next section, which is our Tales section. So, Delty, what have you been doing in game this week?
Well, I've been pretty busy with real life stuff, unfortunately, but I'll just tell the one story of beating Dragonstar Arena after the show. So I think we were on wave 7 or 8 during the show, and we just kept going, and we beat it. We actually one-shot the final boss after we changed one mechanic. So So it was really fun. It was so cool to finally get it done, and a really good, challenging PvE experience like I had never really got before. I really hadn't had that feeling where we're all screaming in TeamSpeak and just, we stuck together and got it done, and that was so much fun. And we're all giddy little kids over it. It's like accomplishment. That's really what I did. And then I'm leveling the Templar, trying a new build out. Been doing a lot of PvP, enjoying it. Just, trying to learn the Templar PvP wise. And I've got a real fun, exciting build that I'm going to kind of highlight next week. I'm ready for something new in PvP. The new system sounds really interesting with the city. I can't wait for that to be released, or even just get on the PTS and so we can start playing with it and seeing how it's going to work. And if it changes the overall meta of the game, it's going to be awesome. Other than that, though, I really haven't been doing much. Been trying to get together some people in different guilds and stuff and get stuff rolling. I mean, a lot of people do solo stuff, and that's okay, but there has to be someone out there that says, look, let's do group stuff. Yes, we might not beat trials the first time, but if you want to do some of this content, we're going to have weekly events, or nightly events, actually, Monday through Saturday. Of course, it's all Demary Dominion faction. It's going to be 8 p.m. Central or Eastern time, but we're doing something every night. Whether it's my guild, hard contact, you don't need to be in it to do it. So some nights we're going to just quest on lobbies. Some nights we're going to go PvP during Saturday. But let's just start coming together as a community and doing stuff. This game, yes, it has one of the best communities in existence, but it feels like we don't ever do anything. So, and it could be just the people I hang around with, but if you're looking to do stuff and you're on the Aldemary Dominion faction, whisper me in game. We're going to start doing something every night. And when it comes up, we're just going to do it. And you don't have to be good. You don't have to be fantastic. You can't be the best player in the world, but just try something. We got to see some of this content all those developers are spending all this hours and time doing, because it's awesome. So that's my rant for this week.
All right, excellent. Well, for us, I'm assuming you didn't change anything on your character this week.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Me either, actually.
Shocking.
What?
Shocking.
I know. I'm kind of sad. Maybe I should log in before we continue and just change one thing so I can talk about it.
Why do you... Never mind. Go ahead.
Because I need to have something to talk about. All right. So I have a note here saying still can't complete Abandoned Farm, but...
Oh, this is funny.
Yeah. So it's not really bugged. I'm just dumb, apparently. So why don't you tell what happens in the fight? You remember what all happens?
Oh yeah. So we walked up to Drodar's plantation, and that's kind of around there is where it happens. And the big guy was standing there, and Ag goes, "Why don't we give it another try and see if we can complete it?" I'm like, all right, sixth time might be the charm. So we walk up, and Ag dies, and I'm healing, and we're killing things, and finally we kill the big guy. But we turn around, and there's someone attacking our ankles, and it's just this tiny little scamp. We're like, oh, we gotta, kill this guy. So we shoot him in the face a few times, and he dies, and wha-bam, we get the achievement.
How the thing works is when he does summon, like the Portal of Oblivion opens, he walks out along with like 5 or 6 scamps that circle him. We've killed the scamps before, but only the ones who were in our direct path of him. Because they were all around. So every time we killed him, we were like, you kill the boss mob, and we're like, hey, why didn't we get credit? Well, you have to kill all 6 scamps that come out of the portal with him, and like when we got done killing him, there's one little scamp hiding over by the house that is summoned by. We killed it and we won. I'm like, we've never once killed all the scamps. We only ever killed the scamps who aggroed us while we've been fighting him or whatever. But when they come out and circle him in a very large circle, so they don't all aggro to you at the same time. So yeah, that was kind of funny. Like we thought it was bugged. We killed it like 5 or 6 times, and we just didn't kill everything. So now we continued our questing again at Drodar Plantation, because we left off there last week. We weren't quite done. We went and I guess we had to go gather up all his armor.
Yes.
Right?
Out of several holes that he dug in the ground.
Right. So we did that, and after we get him and he's all ready to go, and the first Khajiit's like, we're ready to leave, but you got to convince our very last guy, an Argonian named, was it Murkwater?
Murkwater.
But what happens with Murkwater?
You walk up to Murkwater and she's kind of old and you're like, yeah, well, everybody else wants to leave, so we think it's time for you to leave. And she goes, I can't. See, I've been holding in this secret for a really long time, and it's finally time for me to release this secret and to be what I'm really supposed to be. And then she drops the bomb. She goes, you see, deep down, I am actually a crocodile. And you're looking at her like, really?
You're a little crazy there, a little senile.
I don't know about that one. Oh, but okay. So then you ask her a bunch of questions like, are you sure you want to be a crocodile? Like, is this? And she's like, yes, I feel the calling. My crocodile brethren want me to join them. And again, we're kind of inching away from her going, all right. All right. So then she says, there's a ritual that we can do that will restore her to her crocodile form and, roots. So we have to, go around and collect some stuff, and we go back to her, and she's like, okay, now, when I turn into a crocodile, my crocodile self will try to eat you. But my crocodile spirit might remember who you are. Might, mind you. But here's a talisman. If I wander too far, because I see something, bloody and delicious, just, hold this talisman and I'll run back to you and possibly not kill you. And to completely make the transformation, I need you to avenge this plantation by killing the leader of the bandits that attacked us. And we're like, all right, that sounds good.
Okay. Well, we killed it.
Yeah. Okay, well, then we went up to her and killed the guy, and she became a crocodile. And the one thing that I thought was funny, though, is after we completed that, she, walked off with her crocodile brother, and we had to walk past where she originally was, and she's just sitting there in her Argonian form. As an Argonian, all right, maybe it didn't work out.
It bugged out on her, I guess. I don't know. Now, we actually did finish the entire zone, which was kind of neat. So we're going to kind of overarch all of this. Now, I know one of the places we had to go was Afrin's Hold, where we had to go in, and we met someone from, I guess he's a mage. He's like, I need to find his magic sword. Well, we kind of ticked off the mage, because when we got in there, the guy who took over was a warlord who was never there, who was always at war, and apparently while he was at war, his entire keep was slaughtered by the enemy. So
along with his daughter.
Yes, his daughter's a little peeved at him for never being there, kind of like the daddy never loved me kind of deal. So in order to ease family tensions, we gave the sword to her so that, this is a sword that he loves so much, he never let anyone touch it. So he told us to give it to her, and it would be kind of his way of apologizing. Well, they make up, blah, 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 the spirits are at rest. So we leave, and we find the mage again. He's like, so where's my sword? It's like, well, we might have gave it to somebody else. So he kind of yelled at us, like, that's the last time I ever asked some random stranger on the road to do something for me.
My question to that is, why would you ask a random road to help you anyway? Like, I need this $1 million sword. Can you bring it back to me? A regular person is going to be like, $1 million sword? I just made $1 million.
Yeah, right. The next thing we went to Windkeep, which is right next to it, and the current countess is being courted by a bunch of nobles in the area. It was kind of neat, but what happens to her? She starts acting funny. She sends all the servants away, and I know I talked about this last week about Vermina and Quagmire, but as the story goes on, we're fighting our way through all the cultist work in Stormhaven, and I'm going to kind of rush to this next part because it all kind of ties together. Like, we do rescue the Countess, but kind of sad thing happens. The guy who was her lover, which was like the head of her servant, or her servant quarters or whatever, he got killed by the person who...
Right outside her front door.
I know. We were just going to talk to him, too. It's like, hey, you should go tell the head of the, my servants that I want them all back, and, I'm sorry for being all weird. I was kind of possessed by, like, a daydream. It happens. So we go out there, and he's, like, laying dead. But as we're going through, like, we also have to go stop an ogre invasion with orcs and stuff like that. But the orc guy is then turning his army against Wayrest, and it's all part of Vermina's plot. Now, we go into her realm, and it's finally how I wanted it to look. Like, you go in, and it's got this weird little purple haze thing going on. You see all these rocky platforms. You got a little bit of swamp trees. There's all this water around you all over the place. It's glowing like a dark purple. It looked pretty cool. I was like, now this is Vermina's realm. So I took a bunch of screenshots. I did. But, yep, we managed to save the day in Stormhaven, and now we're off to Rivenspire, I guess. So, yeah.
Yep.
So that was our weekend game. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, actually. Finally getting to finish off Stormhaven. I was getting kind of tired of being in Stormhaven anyway, so now we get to move on. Speaking of moving on, it's time to talk about our dramatic reading. So this week, it's the second and third books in the series. We're doing 2 this week because one's just like a little nursery rhyme of the book set Shadowfen Lore. And a little treat for Thais is Dust Shadow is about the shadow scales.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll like that. All right,
Ooh.
take it away, Thais.
Okay. The first one is a shallow pool. A shallow pool is all I ask. Water for roots, mist and shadow, leaves lifting towards the sky. Gentle rain is all I need. Cloak of night, warmth and rain, murmurs in the darkness. A shallow pool is all I want. Memories held, old stories told, surrounded by children who call me their hist. Didn't even rhyme.
Well, but maybe it's like a haiku kind of thing. I mean,
Maybe.
plus an Argonian wrote it, probably.
So, what does that have to do with anything?
I think I implied what I meant.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for race changes. I am becoming the sexiest Argonian you have ever seen.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like making a not angry Dunmer.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult, huh? Next one is Dust's Shadow. All she saw was the glint of moonlight in a straight, sharp line, flashing into the man beside her. He groaned and slipped to his knees, falling sideways onto the ground. By the 8, Lorminga whispered in horror, a scaled hand clamped around her mouth, preventing her from saying anything more. It's over. A voice rasped softly. A soft cloud of ash filled the air, and she coughed, wondering why the assassin hadn't killed her too. When the dust settled, Lorminga realized she was alone. Only the smear of blood on the floor beside her indicated where her companion had fallen. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, Lorminga looked around carefully. Alone. She lifted her unbound hands to her face and prayed. Kind, my goddess and guide, I thank you for saving me from the lizard folk, she said softly. We must return them to their masters. And for that, you must pay. Lorminga felt the blade slipping through her flesh before she saw the Argonian rise beside her. Her mouth moved soundlessly, and her whipping her blade on Lorminga's shirt before sheathing it. Thanks for admitting your guilt before I left. This journey would have been inconvenient for another shadow scale to take so soon. As Lorminga sank to the floor, the shadow scale assassin added, We are all a part of the pact now, except for traitors like you. And then the assassin, like Lorminga's life, was gone.
Probably something to do with slavers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You like the shadow scales, don't you?
I do. I love the Argonians so much.
So when you race change to an Argonian, if they ever let you do race changing and they introduce Dark Brotherhood, are you going to be a shadow scale?
Are you kidding me? I think I might start to RP at that point, just so I could be like the best shadow scale ever.
Nice, nice. Okay. Before I start the next section, which is our community spotlight, how do you pronounce that name?
Amelita?
Amelita. All right. So we have a community spotlight. Esteldian and Amelita are starting up a training camp for VR dungeons on the EU server for those on the Daggerfall Covenant. If you've avoided experiencing the thrill of VR dungeons for any reason, such as lack the confidence in your ability or builds, too shy to join a bunch of strangers, scared of bumping into rude and obnoxious players like Deltia who hurl abuse, or you just can't find a group to play with, then this could be the perfect opportunity to get some VR dungeoning done. The offer is open to everyone. It doesn't matter what class or role you wish to play. We can cover any and all. The purpose of this is to help people experience one of the great parts of the MMOing in MMORPG. So the priority is for those who have little or no experience with the VR dungeons, though if you have some experience but just struggle to get groups for them, you are of course welcome to join, welcome to come along too, but please don't be trying to use us just to get your VR achievements done. Okay. We cannot guarantee a flawless dungeon run, but can promise a drama-free one. Well, that's rare enough as it is.
Good luck.
If interested, just send an in-game mail to @Esteldian, that's ASTELDIAN, or @Emylita, EMYLITA, stating your class, your VR level, preferred role, and times most convenient for you to run a dungeon, and we'll get back to you and try to arrange a time to go dungeon diving with you. In addition, if you are concerned about your build, after getting together and seeing your playstyle, we can offer advice on that too and help you refine it within the parameters of your design. So if you're trying to be an effective stamina DPS user, good luck with that.
Real.
Our build advice will not be go, stab, and dress. I like that, but it's still tough. Don't be shy. Come give it a go. After all, it costs nothing, so what's there to lose? So that's from our friends Esteldian and his wife, Emylita. So there we go. That's our community spotlight. Good luck, guys. I hope you have a lot of fun, and thanks for doing that. It's nice that you're actually wanting to do that for the community. So there you go. All right. Next up is our guild corner. Deltia, do you have anything you want to say about your guild?
Hard Contact. I added a new calendar page, and I don't care if you're in the guild or not. If you want to group up and do stuff, let's do it. We don't have to be in a guild and wear tabards and go crazy and do all this stuff, but we need to start experiencing the stuff. So my guild, Hard Contact, and the guild from ESOTR, Akatosh, are going to be doing nightly events. I put a tab on my website called Calendar. So there is no need to sign up on the website. There's nothing like that. If you're interested, all you have to do is kind of look at the calendar, deltiasgaming.com, see what's going on for the night, whisper me in game, or I have a couple officers that you can whisper and say, hey, I want to join in. Let's do this. We're also going to have some weekend times and everything else. So if you're looking to do that, just find me in game or whatever, and let's just start doing things. If we're full up on a group, we're going to, make a second group. First come, first serve type thing. Only one night a week are we going to do things based on, progression, which is Dragonstar Arena. When I say based on progression, I mean you're going to have to be progressing and have that in mind. It's not going to be a newbie type thing. So even if you're VR7 but want to progress, we'd love to take you. And you can be a stamina-based DPS, but we're going to have to work on things and be willing to work with a team regardless of each person's strengths. So that's what we're doing on Hard Contact. If you want more information, whisper me at DELTIA, or you can talk to the Java Who at JAVA Who in game. Send me a mail, whatever, we'll work it out. But come to my site, look at the events going on, let's start doing stuff.
Excellent. Awesome. And as always, if you're interested in joining the Friends and Family Guild of Tales of Tamriel, you want to say that?
No, go ahead.
No, you're copying along with me, so I figured you want to say it.
No, yeah, you're good.
Okay. Please contact at Aggelos, it's AGGELOS, or at Tear Eater, TEAREATER, in-game for an invite. Make sure when you send a message to Tear Eater, you call her TJ, and you'll get an invite right away. Awesome. All right, so we had no emails, iTunes reviews, or anything like this week, so let's move on. Closing thoughts. Let everyone know what you thought of the episode, what your concerns are, because I know I'm the only one who's excited for Champion System, and where they can find you. So, Thais, why don't you go?
Again, Deltia and I are agreeing on things.
I know. I'm starting to be the offload.
I don't know what is happening on this podcast.
World's
so
changed.
it was a what?
The world's changed.
It is. The world is.
I know. You guys are both against me now. It's weird.
Yes, I am enjoying this very much. So, yeah, my final thoughts, I am so thoroughly not excited for the Champion System, but for everything else that's coming out, totally excited. It's just, so ready for it.
Okay. Do you want to say where they can find you?
Oh, you can find me in-game at Tier Eater, or you can find me on Twitter at TwitQueenThais.
Nice. Awesome. And Deltia.
This is Deltia. You can find me in-game at Deltia, Deltia. You can find my website, Deltia's Gaming, DELTIAS Gaming.com. And so that's kind of where you can find me at Twitter, YouTube, but you can get all that stuff on the website. As far as final thoughts, a little concerned about the next, champion system, huge revamp. I like that they're taking it slow and not just one big, huge thing where they turn the switch and hope it works. So I trust these developers. I mean, come on. They are so open and honest. What other game would talk about this sort of stuff and not really give a timeline? I mean, it's just great that they're actually open and honest with their community. They invited these people out and flew them out for free. Come on, this is great stuff. So stick with the game. I know a lot of people are checking out other stuff. Once this thing goes to consoles, it's going to be awesome. I really like the progression, the way the game's going. I think just a little bit more PvP would be beneficial, and once that new Imperial City comes out, I think it's just the right time for it. So really excited about the game, still having a lot of fun, meeting great people, and just happy to be yapping about Elder Scrolls.
Excellent. All right, and I am, of course, Aggelos. You can find me in-game at Aggelos. It's AGGELOS. You can find me on Twitter. My personal Twitter is Aggelos_WOF. So you can find me there.
I thought it was Carb Spammer 101.
Carb Spammer? Yeah. Well, I will be in the future because they're updating it to make it better with Impulse. We'll talk about that next week.
Oh!
Yeah.
Hashtag cliffhanger.
Well, as always, we talked about it a lot this episode, and it's not even all, because that was only day 1 of the ESO Summit. Next week, we're going to talk about ESO Summit day 2, which has even more stuff in it, like justice system and things of that nature, but I didn't feel like we could adequately go over all of it in one day. So, my final thoughts is, I actually really like the champion system. So many games nowadays are dumbing down their stats and the way you build characters to make it easy for everyone. I like it to be more complicated. So all this stuff that you can add to customize and make your character really you is something that really excites me, because a complaint I had about the Elder Scrolls in particular, I should say Skyrim and ESO in particular, was how they simplified stats. They did away with the standard D&D stats and things like that to go with a more simple health, stamina, magicka thing. And I wasn't, even when they announced ESO, while I was an Elder Scrolls fan, I love Skyrim, I'm sitting there going, how is that going to work in an MMO? Just because it seems too simple of a concept, too simple to go along, and it's just not the way that I like to play games. So having more complicated systems like this, I'm excited for. And I think once you see it, I don't think it'll be as complicated as it sounds. And for those who are interested, on Reddit, somebody was nice enough to probably put their phone up and record the entire conversation about the champion system. And you can listen to it's about an hour and a half of the developers explaining it and stuff like that. And I was listening to that this morning. And it might help you understand a little bit more about where they're coming from with this. I don't think it's going to be as complicated as people are making it out, but will allow us to make characters who are more fit into a specific role. If you want to be a tank, you can really make yourself a tank, and that's what you can strive at. So that should make Thais happy, who's a role purist and doesn't want to mix and match. So she can really just go all out healing and be like, yep, nope, this is me. So that's why I was kind of surprised when she's like, I don't like this. I'm like, well, now you can really be an all-out best healer in the game by really making your character like healing. Baffled me she didn't like it. But, those are my thoughts. I'm looking forward to it. And next week will be a lot of fun talking about all the other stuff, content, lore and zone creation, and the justice system. So I do want to thank my co-host for joining me, as well as I want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast. Having you guys out here really does make this for us. If you wish to help support the podcast, you can feel free to donate via the PayPal link on the website. You don't have to only just do that. That's just for people who want to do things monetarily. There's a lot of ways. If you like writing guides, maybe you should talk to Deltia, on our site. It doesn't matter. Just we want to get word out there. if you really want to help support the podcast, tell a friend. Say, hey, have you listened to this? You should. You don't have money that you want to donate, spread us around. That will help us out too. Thank
spread
you
us
so
around
much.
like herpes. I mean, no.
Spread us around. That's right. Spread us around.
I cannot believe he just said that.
That's what happens. It's a live show.
Right.
Live is
If you
live.
wish to contact us with questions, comments, criticisms, the website for the show is talesoftamriel.com, or you can email the show at podcast@talesoftamriel.com. You can follow the show on Twitter at Tales of Tamriel, Facebook at facebook.com/Tales of Tamriel podcast. Also, feel free to rate and subscribe to us via iTunes. If you didn't get to catch this show live, you can either listen to it on iTunes, or you can watch the live stream on YouTube at youtube.com/Tales of Tamriel. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a good night, everybody.